Hello friends, NMIMS welcomes you to your rendezvous with the knowledge stream of logistics management. This presentation consists of the 8th lesson named Containerization and Multimodal Transport. Container traffic at major ports in India grew by almost 3% in the 11 months from April to February compared with a year earlier, the Indian Ports Association said in a statement. More than 90% of the world merchandise trade is carried by sea, and over 50% of that volume is containerized. It is due to this importance of containerization and multimodal transport that we undertake this lesson and delve deeper into the sea. It follows from the previous slide that after studying this lesson, you should be able to understand types of containers, features of multimodal transport system, principal factors impacting ocean freight rates, multimodal transport in international trade. Now, how do we define a container? A big utensil that will hold something, right? But we would just say that it is actually an equipment used for storing and carrying goods. Containerized type of cargo is when the product is loaded into containers and moved from door to door without the content being handled. Today, it is one of the most popular methods to transport high-value or value-added exports from one shore to another. Containers can be of varied types on various bases. On the basis of general classification, there may be 20-foot container, 40-foot container, super high cube container, which is an oversized container, or an air container, which is a container conforming to standards laid down for air transportation. On the basis of raw material, a container can be classified in terms of its building or cladding materials, that is, it is defined by what it is made of. The maximum number of containers are made of steel, aluminum, or glass fiber reinforced plywood. On the basis of size, containers are defined in multiples of 10 feet, that is, 10 feet, 20 feet, 30 feet, and so on. Classified on the basis of container dimensions and capacity, containers intended for intercontinental use have specified external and internal nominal dimensions. The 8 feet 6 inches high container is often referred to as the standard container. On the basis of use, containers can be general cargo container or thermal container. The main advantages of multimodal transport are that the absence of intermediate handling at terminal transshipment points, plus quick transit permits less risk of cargo damage and pilferage. Moreover, low risk of cargo damage and pilferage enables more favorable cargo premiums to be obtained compared with conventional cargo shipments. Other advantages include elimination of intermediate handling at terminal transfer points, less packing needs for containerized shipments, rates likely to remain more competitive when compared with conventional tonnage, quick transits, low risk of cargo damage and pilferage, elimination of intermediate handling, substantial labor savings, less packing needs, cargo arrives in better condition, rates are more competitive, quicker transits, encourages trade development, provides quicker payment of export invoices, permits fleet rationalization, high productivity, and overall total quality service. Various types of operators include sea, air, air road, inland, mini bridge, macro bridge, land bridge, and micro bridge. Though you must be clear about the earlier ones, let us discuss about the latter ones. Two international intermodal options are known as mini bridge and micro bridge. Macro bridge terminates at an inland point rather than a port, otherwise same as mini bridge. Land bridge is sea-land-sea operator. Microbridge is a door-to-door service. Contacting the carrier directly or the carrier's agent or the freight forwarder or consolidator can obtain the freight rates for export shipments. Freight rate tariff is based upon per weight ton, per measurement ton, value in case of diamonds, and per weight ton or per measurement ton, whichever gives higher revenue. Different freight rates and terminology used in international shipments are given on the screen. The Indian, though, has been able to provide considerable protection to the shipping industry through a scheme of cargo and freight support. Yet it has brought in a measure of equity and control by strictly regulating the industry through restrictive covenants in Merchant Shipping Act 1958. Ministry of Surface Transport and Directorate General of Shipping make the two main regulatory institutions for the industry. Similarly, Mercantile Marine Department, National Shipping Board, Indian Register of Shipping, Ship Acquisition Licensing Committee, training institutions, and terms of protection also work as regulatory bodies. Rate determining in case of ocean transport is a complex process and is usually affected by the following factors: character of cargo, volume of cargo, availability of cargo, susceptibility to damage, volume of goods, susceptibility to pilferage, packing, storage, relationship of weight to measurement, heavy lifts, extra length, competition with goods from other sources, cargo via competitive ports, competition from other carriers, direct cost of operating, distance, cost of handling, special deliveries, fixed charges, insurance, port facilities, port regulations, port charges and dues, canal tools, port location, possibility of securing return charges. Shipping industry uses standard trade definitions most commonly used in international sales contracts. They are termed as the International Commercial Terms or Incoterms or Terms of Trade. Incoterms are universally recognized and adhered to by the major trading nations of the world. In the figure 4 shown here, there are certain abbreviations. They are nothing else than Incoterms. Now pay attention to each one of them. EXW stands for Ex-Works. FCA means free carrier. FAS stands for free alongside ship. FOB means free on board. CFR stands for cost and freight. CIF stands for cost, insurance and freight. CPT means carriage paid to. CIP means carriage and insurance paid to. DAF means delivered at frontier. DES represents delivered ex ship. DEQ stands for delivered ex quay. DDU means delivered duty unpaid. And DDP means delivered duty paid. Container management systems are a new dimension in supply chain execution and collaborative logistics technology. The basic concept is to develop a responsive system for providing vital information inputs to decision makers and consignees for efficient asset tracking and control of the goods in transit. The main elements of CMS integrate are container identification, container data capture or mobile computing, application software and hardware, and integration software and hardware. The key areas in which CMS can be of critical importance are inventory management, location management, preventive maintenance, billing, value-added processing, routing, demand planning, and forecasting. But the main challenges and problems include logistics network complexity, difficult location tracking, security, government or environmental regulations, cost and an operational necessity but difficult to manage. There are certain details that the sea freight containers need to have in order to make the identification of the containers. These details include owner code, serial number and check digit, country code and type code, and maximum gross and tare weight. With increased globalization and complexities in cross-border trade, there have been many cases of fraudulent practices in international maritime trade. But the sigh of relief is that they are within manageable proportions and most incidents are only local in origin. Improved security recommendations focusing on the terrorist issue lead criminals to concentrate their activities away from these international locations to areas where there is less security. That makes them indulge at times in container crimes. The examples given here illustrate the differences between both of them very well. Now let us check if the statements given are right or wrong. The first statement says that fraud committed by a charterer against a ship owner is a maritime fraud. Right or wrong? Right. Illegal immigrations are maritime frauds. Right or wrong? Wrong. Third, fraud committed by a charterer or ship owner against a trader comes under container crime. Right or wrong? Wrong. The use of containers had not only facilitated but has also revolutionized the carriage of goods among the developed countries. The exporters in developing countries are also making greater use of containers for the transportation of the goods. The enactment of Multimodal Transportation of Goods Act 1993 has enabled exporters from India to use containers for transportation of export cargo. Train or road to the seaports carries the containers where they are loaded on the ships for onward transportation to their destination. The exporters do not need to carry the cargo to the seaports any longer, rather they can approach the container freight station or the inland container depot to book the cargo there for transportation to the destination. The custom clearance of the cargo is logistics management provided at ICDs, and in the process, the exporters are able to save a lot of the time. The packing of cargo in a container can be done either in the container depot or in the factory of the exporter.